discussion. Bike Magazine 2013 Bible Bike Test, brother. Yeah, we're talking about a brave bike, man. You got to have serious huevos for this thing right here. Diamondback Mason. $2,500 hardtail, just a brawn. Take it on the trail. Travis, brother, what'd you think?
When I was a young man growing up in the suburbs of Chicago, flat, smooth, beautiful dirt back there, my friends and I would have loved a bike like this because we were kids, right? You know, like we weren't racing, we weren't Stravaing, you know, like we were out there to have fun, you know, and learn how to ride a bike. And you know, we did trials, we dirt jumped, like this would have been our bike, you know. It's ready to be ridden aggressively, it's durable, it's a fun bike. But then, like most kids from the Midwest, I grew up and moved to Southern California. And I found myself falling in love with full suspension bikes. For this bike to be in the trail category and be, you know, like in the ring with all the other trail bikes, I really think that it's got to be a full suspension bike. It's too limiting and it's too specialized. I don't want to ever say too specialized. I shouldn't have said that because there's people out there for it. And if this bike is for you, you know it. You know, I mean, if you want a bike like this that really you can't get anywhere else, then you're gonna be stoked watching this because you're like,
kind of knows that.
Yeah, I had a rad time on this bike. It was faster on the full suspension bikes. It's more comfortable on the full suspension bikes, but just being able to push out of the corners, the smooth corners, and just feel every knob on the tire just grip and break loose. It's a feeling you don't get on a full suspension bike. And I had a good time on the bike all around. I thought the Talus fork was an awesome addition for it. In the long travel mode, it really allowed the bike to open up to fast, rough descents. And when it is in the low mode, it feels like a cross-country hardtail. And I think another interesting thing to note is how Diamondback built this bike up with a 1x10 setup, short stem. It's like it's a personal bike. If I were to build up an aggressive hardtail, it wouldn't be any different than that.
And I think that's interesting because it's I mean, you mentioned a personal bike, and in a way it kind of is almost like personal bike of John Kennedy, the marketing manager of Diamondback, and it reflects the kind of personality of both John Kennedy and a lot of the guys who work for Diamondback, and even their riders. All those guys are dirt jumpers as well, and they all live in the Pacific Northwest and I think most of them hail from Seattle, and so I think that's not a coincidence at all. So,
yeah. And it is a really versatile bike too. I mean, you could beat the piss out of it without having to take it to the shop every week to get it worked on. You could drag it to the bar. You could, you know, do trials on it. You know, if you're a beginner, it could be a cool bike, or if you just want to add another bike to your quiver, want a hardtail in your quiver, I think it's great for that too.
We should also mention price point with the frame.
Right. Well, so you can get the whole bike for $2,500, and again, there's some great parts on this box. You know, the Y bars, kind shock dropper post. But as you're mentioning, you can get the frame, a kind shock dropper post, an FSA headset, and a 142x12 rear hub to get you started on a wheel set, all for $800, which is a really good price. The kind shock Supernatural seat post is about $300 as it is. Headset's going to run you $70-80. So in some ways, you're looking at the frame, and that kind of equates to a frame being about $400, which is not bad. And you know, it is a unique frame. You know, I guess, Squirrel, my question for you would be, if you had $2,500 and this was going to be, you know, your first bike, would this be, or only bike, would this be your bike, or is it only in addition to the quiver?
As an only bike, it'd really be a contender, I think, for me. And I don't mind riding a hardtail. I think it's nice. Yeah, it's definitely a contender for me. It might not be for everybody, but for the way I ride.
I mean, Led Zeppelin didn't write tunes that everybody liked. They left that to the Bee Gees.
Oh, and there you have it, brother.